Well, welcome everybody. This is our formal welcome. And so whether you're joining us live or watching our recording, we want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us and learn about this incredible cruise to Iceland with Celebrity Cruises. Steve and I will introduce ourselves really quick. We are Suzanne and Steve Clausen. We are the owners of the CruiseOne travel agency in Show Low, Arizona. And Steve, if you want to
Good morning,
unmute
everyone.
yourself. Hello. And then we're also joined by our Office and Business Development Manager, Lauren Clausen. She's here on the call.
Hi.
And then Tiffany from Celebrity Cruises is here. Can you say hi, Tiffany?
Hi, everyone.
She is my right-hand woman at Celebrity Cruises. She is my business development manager, so she helps me with making sure that everything exceeds expectation in all the planning processes for my clients and helps me get little things done. She's worked some miracles for me just this week, so I'm very thankful to have her on my team and be working with her directly at Celebrity Cruises. So let's go ahead and get started. I love this first slide. What do James Bond, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Captain America all have in common? Well, you can probably tell from these pictures, these are all franchises that were filmed in Iceland. Iceland is known for its incredible, just otherworldly landscapes. And so Hollywood has found this out and has turned it into a great place to film. It minimizes their need for special effects. So Steve and I have been there several times, and every time we go, we see something different, and we're always ready to go back. So our agenda, we're going to talk to you about the 7-night Iceland intensive. It is a 7-night perfect getaway to Iceland. And we're going to talk to you, and Tiffany's going to help us with this, going to talk about what makes a celebrity cruise like no other cruise that you would ever sail on. And then we're going to discover our exclusive pricing, our exclusive amenities, things that you get just by booking through our agency, CruiseOne in Show Low, Arizona. So I'll tell you a little bit about Steve and I. We have a passion for travel. As co-owners and full-time travel professionals, we don't just plan vacations, we try to craft extraordinary adventures for all of our clients. We have a deep-rooted passion for travel. We travel a lot ourselves, so we understand the little details that are going to make a big difference. Whenever we do travel, we consider that travel experience an investment in our future clients' travel experience because we're able to give them insider tips and little suggestions and just kind of a professional view that helps make their vacation experience exceed their dreams and their expectations. We're also very lucky that technology has gotten to the point that we can work from wherever we are in the world, and we've got very good internet on cruise ships now. So we just set up our office no matter where we are in the world, and we work on delivering extraordinary vacations for our clients. Some advantages to working with our agency is one, I work on my client's behalf. I don't work for the cruise line. So I have a lot of training and experience to guide my clients' decisions. And I do believe that there's a cruise line for every style and budget. But by working with me, you're going to get my expertise. You've got an insider. Tiffany is my right-hand woman right at Celebrity. I sell hundreds of celebrity cruises a year and work with them to make sure that everything is going perfectly. But here's the best part, is your price is going to be the same or better. In my case, my group allocation, I locked in this contract over a year ago. My prices are better than what you would pay directly to Celebrity. And the best part is that Celebrity pays me a commission. You don't pay any more. You don't pay anything for my services, and you get an extraordinary price on this cruise. I'm also really easy to reach. I'm not a call center. We are a mom and pop agency. Me and Steve and my daughter-in-law are our entire employees. You're not going to get a switchboard, some big call center, get somebody who doesn't know who you are. We are here to help you and give you that extraordinary service and experience. Phone me, text me, email me, almost 24/7. I do have to sleep sometime, but I have been known to get up at 3 in the morning to handle a client emergency. So I'm always there for you. And why are we here with you tonight? Why are we having this webinar? We're so glad you all came. And for years, we have worked with Celebrity and had these incredible group prices, but we're like, how do we get the word out? And we finally kind of figured it out. These webinars, we started doing them kind of during the pandemic with our existing customers. And we thought, well, why can't we reach new customers and share these wonderful travel experiences that we have planned with them through that same thing? So if you saw us through our advertising, or maybe you booked with us before and you got an email, we're so glad you came, because we love doing these webinars, because it really gives us a chance to share with you something that you might have overlooked or not heard of other than being at this webinar. So again, thank you so much for coming. We love our groups. We plan lots of different types of group cruises. We do wine cruises. We do friends and family groups, a family of 24, grandparents, kids, big family. We do those. And we also do escorted groups, and we love sailing with them, because then we are sure that we are on board. And if there's any issue that needs to be addressed, we are there, and we are the insiders that know how to work with Celebrity or whatever cruise line, and we'll be able to get it resolved. So now let's talk about that destination. I mentioned earlier in that slide with all the movies things that Hollywood has discovered Iceland for its otherworldly filming locations. It really is incredibly beautiful places. And it really has embraced tourism. They had 2.2 million people visit Iceland, and that's a country with a native population of under 400,000 people. And when their economy crashed, they turned to tourism as one of their chief industries, and they really have embraced it. But there's so much more to Iceland. Reykjavik is really, truly a world-class capital. Its metropolitan area is home to the most people in Iceland. It's 228,000, and that's where our cruise will begin and end, is in Reykjavik. And despite it being such a small capital, it has some beautiful things like this world-class concert hall and opera house, and it has beautiful, distinctive culture in the downtown. And did I mention waterfalls? Iceland is known for beautiful waterfalls like this one just outside of Grundarfjordur. Another unique thing about Iceland is the Icelandic horses. They're a little bit smaller breed of horses because they had to be brought over on boats from mainland Europe. And so they put smaller horses on the boats because they fit. And that's why the horses are a little bit smaller in Iceland. They were first brought by the farmsteaders that came in about the year 870 to 930 AD. And what makes these horses so unique is they have 5 gaits. Most horses have the standard walk, trot, and canter, but the Icelandic horses have the pulse and the flying pace, which if you go to an Icelandic horse farm, they will do a demonstration of all those different gaits. It's very interesting. Another great thing about Iceland is the waterfalls, and I can make sure that you see every waterfall in this slideshow during your visit to Iceland, so you just ask me how. Country living. So we mentioned that there's those big cities, but there's also some beautiful countryside. That's a typical Icelandic sheepdog sitting up on the side of that old-fashioned sod house that you see there. A lot of the tours that you can do are farm stays or farm visits, where you can go, you meet with the farmer, she tells you about her horses or her sheep, her sheepdogs, whatever she has. Otherworldly landscapes, again, this is the site where they filmed the famous Volcano Man video from the movie Eurovision, The Story of Saga. Wait, what is it, Sky? What's the name of the group, Lauren? I can't remember. Anyway, they filmed this video there. It's a very funny movie, and it takes place, a lot of it takes place in Iceland. It's about these 2 Icelanders that go, Fire Saga, that's what it was. They go to the Eurovision Song Contest, and it's very funny. There's also, did I mention waterfalls in Iceland? If you like waterfalls, those are some of the most beautiful. These are, and I want to let you know, these are actually my own pictures that I took when we were just there last summer. Now this whale watching picture is not my own. This is one of the few that is not from my own camera, but Iceland is a great place to whale watch. And of course, the humpback whales have come back so well in the last, say, 20, 30, 40 years that they're really prevalent around Iceland. Also, oops, I missed a slide. Also waterfalls. This is one that's just outside of Suzanne. You can hike up there. It's about a 5 mile hike. Very beautiful scenery. Iceland's also the land of fire. There are 32 active volcanoes in Iceland, and the Icelanders have embraced it. It is just part of their culture that they have these active volcanoes. That also gives them all these wonderful thermal spas that you can visit. Generally, the volcanic eruptions in Iceland are fissure eruptions, so they're actually very gentle and very slow, and they're not even really affecting tourism at all right now. Some tours will even take you to safely view the active volcano. So if you want to do that, you can. Um, and also again, fire. I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of this volcano. Our tour guide, he's standing there in the yellow jacket. He's like, you're going to be able to say it by the time we end this tour. None of us could say it, but when this volcano erupted, it kind of put Iceland on the map for tourism because people started to see it as a great place to visit. And this is the geyser that's a part of the Golden Circle tour. It erupts about every 8 to 12 minutes. So that's definitely something that you want to see. And ice. Parts of Iceland are still covered in glaciers, and there's a couple different tours you can take to see ice and glaciers and ice caves. And also there's waterfall. This is yet another waterfall that we saw in our recent visit to Iceland. And then spectacular scenery. This is Thingvellir National Park, which is the place where the European plate and the North American plate are splitting apart, and that creates all the volcanoes in Iceland. There's also rich culture and history in Iceland. You can see that the settlers have been there since about since before the year 1000. And there's all these artifacts from the pre-Christian days, the days after they converted to Christianity, and even their modern architecture. This is the cathedral downtown, and it was completed in the late 20th century. And it's a very beautiful Lutheran cathedral, very stark, very simple inside, but so beautiful. And there's also waterfalls. There's a lot of waterfalls in Iceland. So if that's something you want to see, Iceland is your place. So let's look at our itinerary. We do round trip Reykjavik, which is great because I think that there's so many things to do in and around Reykjavik. You might want to come in a couple days early, a couple days late. And the other thing that's great about this itinerary is we have an overnight Akureyri. Akureyri is the starting point for so many different exciting tours and activities that you can do. So very wonderful. Now, why is a cruise the best way to see Iceland? Well, Iceland is expensive on land. And when you're on a cruise, all your meals, lodging, entertainment, enrichment lectures, they're all included. You get that amazing onboard service and atmosphere that you only get from a celebrity cruise. And in 7 days, we're going to completely circumnavigate the island and see some of the most important ports. Now, if you were to do a land vacation in Iceland, just kind of think about how expensive it would be. Gas is $9 a gallon. Meals, even a simple meal, is going to be about $40 to $60 per person, like for fish and chips and a beer, $40 to $60. And seeing Iceland from a cruise ship is going to be half the price than if you spent 7 days on land there. So let's talk about Reykjavik. This is where we start our cruise. It's the first permanent Viking settlement in Iceland. And the name of it actually means smoke cove in Nordic. And it was because of the steam from the many volcanic vents and geysers and those kind of geological events made it look smoky, but it was steam. And this is where they had the summit between Reagan and Gorbachev that was historic. And then it's also their center of culture and art and history. And there are many beautiful museums of historic lands, all kinds of museums to see there. So that's your thing too. I do recommend that if you can come in a couple days early and stay a couple days late, I can help you find many, many different exciting tours that you can do in around the Reykjavik area. With it being the capital, there's so many like spoke and wheel tours that you can take that just start from there. So definitely recommend spending a couple extra days. So we'll start our cruise. We will sail around the south part of the island, and then we'll go to the east, or excuse me, the east fjords. And that's where we're going to stop, make our first stop, and it's Seyðisfjordur. It's a beautiful place. It's home to this beautiful waterfall, and you can hike up there. It's a little bit of a steep incline, but it's about 2.5 miles up the hill to get to the waterfall. So 5-mile round trip hike. Of course, in the center of town, they have these beautiful churches, the Rainbow Street. It's a beautiful place to visit. There's Steve and I, when we hiked up to that waterfall, it truly was a magnificent sight. And there are actually 3 or 4 other waterfalls in this same general area. So it might be a little more than you want to hike, but it's definitely, there's tons of waterfalls to see in this area. So next we're going to sail around and we're going to go to Akureyri. And this is the northern capital of Iceland. It's kind of its nickname. It was settled in the 9th century, and because it's really far north, parts of it are almost in the Arctic Circle, not quite, but because of the way that the current flows around, its harbors stay ice-free most of the year. It has a population of 18,000 people. Fishing is your main industry here. And what's so interesting about the northern part of Iceland is that they are much more into the folk culture, the elves, the fairies, those kind of things, the trolls. And so you see a lot of more references to those kind of things in that part. It's also home to lots of whales, so there's beautiful whale watching from this area. Another thing you might consider doing is a full day trip to, I can never say this, Dimmuborgir. It's a volcanic lava field. You can see it in that far left picture. There's the big circle that was formed by volcanic lava. Apparently that was supposed to be the inspiration for the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. There's also the beautiful Godafoss waterfall there. And there's a legend. The reason it's called Godafoss is that when the tribes of Iceland decided to convert from paganism to Christianity, one of the kings or the tribal leaders sent all the wooden gods over the fall as symbolic that they were leaving that behind and going to be embracing Christianity. I've heard that story is apocryphal, but whatever. It's an interesting story, and that's why the falls are called Godafoss. There's also some beautiful lava fields and some mud pits, all kinds of volcanic features that you can visit in this part of Iceland. And here's just some more pictures, just so you can kind of see where Akureyri is. There's also the Mývatn nature baths that are there. There is that
didn't mention
cave.
that we're overnighting here, so.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. We do overnight here. So what the nice thing about that is that you can take a really long, even independent day tour and see all these things. And then you don't have to worry about rushing back to the ship because the ship's staying in port overnight. So this is your day to go explore as much of this area as you want. There's a cave that was an inspiration for a scene in Lord of the Rings, again, the lava fields. And here's one of the pictures I took in May of 2019 of the Godafoss waterfalls. And there's a couple different ways that you can get up here. You can take, and I'll show you that in the next slide. So you could actually take the 79 public bus for about $12 each way. Iceland has a really good app. It's in English, and you can figure out how the bus schedules work, and you can take the 79 public bus up there. You can also book an independent tour. It's about 2.5 hours. They'll pick you up at the pier. They'll take you out to the waterfalls. I think those run just under 100, right around $100. And then Celebrity also has some full day tours that include the Godafoss, the Mývatn nature baths, the Lake Mývatn area. So it just, if you need some help trying to figure out how to budget your money and what's the best bang for your buck, I'm here to help. I can definitely help you with that. We're going to be there overnight. So maybe the second day, you don't want to push it too hard and do a big tour. So you might want to take in some of the attractions that are right in the city of Akureyri. There is a free shuttle bus to the Forest Lagoon, and you see that pictured in the upper right-hand corner of this slide. They were digging a tunnel through a mountain and found a geothermal spring, and then they routed that water to supply this geothermal bath. It can be booked ahead of time. They pick you up at the parking lot. It's about maybe 5 miles away from where the cruise ship docks. The botanical garden is in walking distance, and it is completely free. So if you just want to get off the ship and walk up and see the botanical gardens and see all these flowers that are growing in this Arctic region, it's very interesting. And another thing to do in Iceland, it's very interesting. Everybody is taught English from like the second grade, and it's been that way for 40 years. So everyone speaks English in Iceland. Or maybe even 50 years, but everyone speaks English in Iceland. If you wanted to go out, check out the local thermally heated pool, they are open year round. They are great social places where people like to gather. There's a city pool in Akureyri that you could go and hang out at. So, it just depends on what you do. Here's some example of the excursions that Celebrity offers. I took a screenshot. They, from time to time, offer these sales, but the destination highlights nature, folk, and flora. That's the one that I would recommend, and it's a pretty good price, $198, and it is a full day tour. So that's something that would really take you out to all those places that I showed. And this is a map that shows where those things are located. I've got a map of the what this seems like in Akureyri, but you've got to go through a mountain and tunnel to get to those other places. You can also even go, that 79 bus will take you all the way to Husavik, which you see at the far north, which is a great place for whale watching. So there's tours that can take you up to. You don't have to, you're not limited to the public bus, but that's just an idea of how things run in Iceland. The next port that we're going to go to is Ísafjörður, and these are some pictures that I took from the last time we were there. The sailing in and out of those West Fjords is absolutely beautiful. That is one of the oldest parts of Iceland. It was created before the rest of the island was created with those volcanic flows. So it's very interesting to go through that part and kind of see the geology in that area. Here's again some more scenery in that area. Very beautiful. A Celebrity offers quite a few excursions there all day. I feel like could be a little bit pricey. So I wanted to show you, I looked on Viator this morning, and there are some really nice excursions that are 3 and 4 hours. We're there in port from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So use your common sense. You can book a 2.5 hour, 3 hour tour that starts at 10, because that gives you enough time to get off the ship. 11, 12, 1, 2. You're back on the ship by 2 or 3 o'clock, and the ship doesn't leave until 7. So, you can use some common sense. Don't book a 9-hour tour here, but you can book a shorter one, and they're really priced pretty reasonably through the third parties. And I can show you where to book these and send you links if this is something that you're interested in doing. Don't miss the scenic sailing. Remember, I told you this is the oldest geological part of Iceland, so it's very interesting to see, what this area looks like. Then we head back to Reykjavik, and these are some of the pictures I took on the highly recommended Golden Circle tour. I have my tour that I have. It's a private tour. It is now waitlisted because we have our bus full. If you would like to get on the wait list for that, I can put you there, or I can help arrange another tour through another supplier that could take you out to Golden Circle. The advantage of our tours is just that it's going to pick us up at the pier and store our luggage all day. But there are other tours where you just need to take a taxi to their like tour office, and you can drop off your luggage, or you can take a taxi to your hotel if you're staying the night, check in your luggage there, and then take the tour. So there's some other options that you could do. I highly recommend the Golden Circle. Here's some more highlights from the Golden Circle and some other areas that you can see near Reykjavik. Golden Circle includes the Thingvellir National Park, the Gullafoss Falls, which is the falls in the upper left-hand corner of this slide. You go see that geyser, which is the one in the lower right-hand corner. But there's other things you can do. A lot of people like to go see the Blue Lagoon. Now, Blue Lagoon has been mostly open, but they've had a couple days where they had to close it because of the volcanic activity near there. So you might look at one of the other lagoons that are near there. There's the Sky Lagoon. There's a couple other that are in that general area, which would give you that same geothermal bathing experience. The other one I recommend is the South Coast Tour. That is the one where you see that waterfall that you can actually walk under. There's a couple other waterfalls that you see on that tour as well. And the Reykjavik Peninsula Tour. That's one that we've done too. That's near the airports. There's some that are available that will drop you. You just tour this area, they drop you off at the airport. So lots of different things to do in the Reykjavik area. Great whale watching. These are actually pictures from our whale watch that we did in Reykjavik a couple years ago. In 2022, we saw some mingies and some humpbacks. There is a great food scene. We went to a fast casual place. We had fish and chips, a beer. I said it was like $40 a person. They did have really good fish and chips, but you can see the Icelanders have a great sense of humor because the same restaurant that says, come try the best fish and chips in town, it also says, try the worst pizza that one guy on TripAdvisor ever had, which I thought was kind of funny. But there's also an elevated food culture. And for just a little bit more, maybe $60, $80 a person, you can get a really fine dining gourmet dining experience. So much beautiful architecture and culture along the waterfront. There's this whole strip that has all these different art sculptures, and this is the one that you see on the far right here is the one that sort of represents the Vikings coming to Iceland. There's also the cathedral, the concert hall. There's several amazing museums. There's one called the Pearl that is like a natural history museum. And there's the historic museum that tells the history of the culture on the island. Like I said, the Blue Lagoon, it's a little bit of a tourist trap. It's about $100 to get in there. It's very beautiful and it's such a unique experience that I do still recommend it, even though it's a little bit expensive. But to me, it's not a must do. I think if you do some sort of thermal bathing experience in Iceland, you are getting some of that Icelandic culture. So, why not go to the city pool in Reykjavik? This is where the locals come to relax and unwind, and it's going to be about a tenth of the cost of getting into the Blue Lagoon. And I did have a client that this is exactly what she did when we were in Reykjavik a couple years ago. She got off the ship, went to go bathe in the city pool, and she loved it. So this map gives you an idea of where some of these things are and why you need to take these long tours to be able to get to these places. Now, if you're doing the whale watching, it's right in town. Golden Circle takes you out of town. It is an all-day, 8-hour tour. And then the Reykjavik Peninsula is closer towards the airport that you see on the far west side of the map there. But South Coast Tour is another one. This is an all-day tour. It's about 8 hours, and you are only on the bus maybe about half of that time because it is a long way to cover. But they do give you time to get out at each of the different waterfalls and hike and take pictures and enjoy the experience. That tour usually takes you as far as Vik and back. And like I said, it takes about 8 hours with lots of stops. As soon as you leave Reykjavik, you stop. I think it's in Selfoss. I think that's where we stop for like a snack break, a restroom break, at a little shopping mall with souvenirs. And then you head a little bit further down and you get to see all the other volcanic waterfalls and different volcanic formations that are like out into the water and stuff. Another thing that people like to do is to go to the Westman Islands. That's where you see that little puffin, and that could be an all-day tour just in itself. That's a beautiful island, and it's actually was settled by the Gaelic people, like the Scottish and the Irish, and that's why it's called the Westman Islands. Beautiful place to see puffins. So some people always ask me, oh, Suzanne, are we going to be able to see the Northern Lights in August? And generally, it's not really dark enough. Now, at the very end of the cruise, if you have a dark night sky and a clear dark night sky, you might be able to see them. This is actually a picture we took of Northern Lights near closer to the end of August. But I just want to let you know, there are people who go in the middle of winter to Iceland to go see the Northern Lights. They're there all week. there's not a clear day at all, and so they don't get to see them. So there's really no time to guarantee that you're going to see the northern lights. If you're lucky enough, you're lucky enough. So this is my motto when visiting Iceland: dress for the weather you have, not the weather you want. Iceland can be cool and rainy even in the summer, or you can have a beautiful, warm, sunny day. You can see from my big pictures, we had a little bit of both. So you're going to want to dress in layers, and you want your outer layer to be waterproof. So a jacket, a rain poncho, waterproof pants, waterproof shoes, especially when you're visiting the waterfall areas, because if you want to walk through a little bit of that creek to get the perfect picture, you don't want to go have wet feet for the rest of the day. So waterproof boots are a good thing to have. I always think, a scarf, a hat, and maybe gloves that you can take on and off are the best things to keep you insulated from the weather, because you want to miss out on things like that spectacular waterfall just because it's a little rainy. Icelanders have a saying: there's no bad weather days, just bad clothing choices. So dress for the weather and you will be very comfortable. So here's a look at the itinerary. I'm going to skip that because that is actually the old itinerary. And now I am going to introduce Tiffany from Celebrity, and she's going to take us through what makes Celebrity such a special experience. Tiffany, are you there?
I am here. Yes. Suzanne, you could probably do this presentation though, too, because you're on our ships way more than I get to go. So, um, but yes, so thank you all for joining us tonight. So, celebrity, I think elevated is the word that captures our brand the best and the essence of what it is to be on a celebrity ship. We want to elevate your experience all the way through. Suzanne and Steve are going to do that from the moment you book. They're going to elevate the service level for you pre-cruise, and we're going to carry that through all the way on board. We are a different type of brand, and we want you to cruise no other way but Celebrity Cruises. We want to make sure that you understand that there is definitely luxury elements to our brand, but we're overall a very casual brand. So as she was talking about all your dress that you have to wear to dress warm. Sorry, Suzanne, that's just what it looked like to me. You look cold. But when you're wanting to dress warm, you don't have to bring any formal gowns or tuxes or anything like that. We have a very country club casual environment on board that blends really well with this itinerary. So we want you to make sure that you're enjoying the intimate feel of Celebrity and enjoying all the thoughtful touches that our incredible staff on board brings. We are an award-winning resort. We do have several of our ships on the Forbes 4-star list. This is new for us. It happened about 8 months ago. Very, very proud and very humbled by this because it is a very lengthy process to get on there. So that should give you a lot of credibility when you're boarding our ships, that Forbes has given us the 4-star on 5 of our ships now. When you're welcoming on board, I think you guys are the perfect audience. We're looking for the foodie, the cultural enthusiast, the maverick. That's someone like what Suzanne was talking about, getting out a little bit on your own too and exploring the world. And also that indulgence seeker. We have everything from inside cabins that she'll talk to you about all the way up to the retreat, which is our sweet guest if you really want to indulge and spoil yourselves for the week. And what matters most to our guests, destination, destination, destination. I think that is the number one. And Iceland has definitely been a very, very hot spot for everyone lately. Food and drink is a big core focus for us. We want to make sure that you feel spoiled at all times, along with elevating that hospitality and your stay. We also have incredible entertainment. We have pop-up surprise entertainment going on all over the ship. Always something to do. And always there's those quiet little nooks you could find if you just want to decompress and read a book and have a little bit of quiet time. We can have that for you.
This slide cracks me up because they have the people doing yoga where it says live shows and activities. So
they're very mellow in that.
Yeah, there's plenty of lively activities like the silent disco.
Yep, which is right here on the Explorer. So whether you're looking to explore or restore, we can deliver on both levels. So like she mentioned, the silent disco, I love to watch it more than participate, but I just think it's very, very entertaining to watch. We have several different ships in our fleet, from the Edge series, which is our newest, to the Millennium series. You guys would be sailing on one of the Solstice series. The great thing about the Silhouette, which would be your ship, it was completely revolutionized in 2019 What that means to you is we took her down to the nuts and bolts, even the bathrooms and the cabins, everything was redone. She shows like a brand new ship. So it is an incredible ship for this itinerary. There are some great shots of the silhouette. Also, you can't quite see it, but on that very top deck, we actually have a lawn club, which is real grass. We have a gardener on board. So a great spot. Maybe do a little camp out on the lawn while you're going through the fjord. I mean, watching the Iceland scenery
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we
Pretty
do sail
spectacular.
through that. Like we'll have several fjords that we enter and out, and the sail away from Akureyri is beautiful. And one of the things you get to see when you're strolling through the countryside is troll marshmallows. Do you know what a troll marshmallow is? Nobody knows what it is. A troll
No, but I want to
marshmallow
know.
A troll marshmallow is a big, huge hay bale that's covered in a white protective plastic bag. I mean, they're huge, and you see them all over the hills, and they call them troll marshmallows. So it's
Yeah,
very
great place
interesting.
to either be out on the lawn
Yeah,
or maybe in the back bar.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
Several different
I was,
activities going on, whether you're looking to stimulate the mind or get a little dance on. We have silent disco, trivia, Liars Club, which is one of my favorite events. The captain usually participates in that. We have great enrichment lectures on board, and there's also fitness classes and a full spa if you want
and
someone else to take care of you.
and don't forget the silent disco.
The silent
I think
disco is
this
everywhere.
is on the silhouette. This is on the silhouette a couple years
It's a
ago.
great
It's my
shot.
sister, my daughter, and two of my very good friends in that picture.
I did kind of tap on the world-class entertainment. We have everything from Broadway shows. We'll also bring on guest entertainers, anything from a comedian to another singer. My favorite is we have a lot of acoustic sets on board, which kind of sets the tone in a lot of the bars and the lounges. If you're looking just for a pre-dinner cocktail before you go on to dinner, it's really nice and mellow. But like I said, be prepared for little pop-up entertainments here and there. That's a new thing we're doing where you just might not quite expect it and really just take in the show. Dining is abundant on board the ship. The main dining rooms will serve all your main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're looking for something a little bit more casual, you can try our Ocean View Cafe, which is a buffet restaurant. But I do want to say we have a lot of action stations too, where they can custom make your food. So it's not just all,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
you
know,
have the pasta station. Sometimes they do the Asian soup, where they mix the noodles in and they make it, they
uh,
customize everything you want in the soup. They do have, if you go on the over to the grill, they do have some proteins that they'll cook to order. So, maybe you don't want a full sit down service dinner, but you can go up and fix your salad, order your protein, finish your salad, your protein will be ready. That's a wonderful experience. And the specialty dining is fabulous on this ship.
Very, very
We
much so. We
love
also
it.
have
Yeah.
pizza and burgers if you're looking for something super casual. And we also have a spa cafe if you're looking for something a little bit more on the healthier side, geared towards health and wellness. One of my favorite slides, we have an incredible martini bar on this ship. It is an ice-covered martini bar, which I think makes it even more fun. Our bartenders are flair bartenders. So as you can see, that one bartender is pouring, I can't even count, probably 20 plus glasses at a time.
52. 52.
52. Yeah, 52 glasses at a time. They're also throwing bottles up in the air, juggling them. They do an amazing job. They are so ready to engage with you and have conversation. It really is a fun, fun experience.
And they remember you from cruise to cruise. I can't tell how many times that I've walked up to the bar and they're like, "Oh, welcome, Mrs. Clausen." I mean, they know you if you are regular with them.
And our bartenders
Awesome.
make really good mocktails too. If you're not a drinker, there is a lot of options there in that realm.
Yeah, and that's a new thing that there's a lot of specialty mocktail menus at the bars. So you
Yes.
can get lots of virgin drinks. So it's really, and there's actually isn't it I think, are you guys stocking, and correct me if I'm wrong, some of the non-alcoholic liquors?
Yes,
So
we
it's
are.
gonna have, yeah, it's gonna taste like a bourbon, but it doesn't have any alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So really interesting.
Yeah, really expanding. That's all about elevating the experience on board. The specialty dining, Suzanne was not kidding. We have Tuscan Grill, which was like it's a steakhouse slash Italian, I would say. We have cuisine featuring La Petite Chef, which is that picture down there in the bottom corner. It's an animated dining experience to a prefix menu. Definitely a one-of-a-kind experience. Lawn Club Grill is our outdoor, what I call bougie barbecue, which is not a corporate
Mhm.
sponsored word, but that's my word. We also have the Porch, which is a seafood restaurant, Sushi on Five, and Murano. And I will be honest, I don't know, Suzanne, you can keep me honest here, but that is the best bite of lobster I've ever had is in Murano. Their tableside
Romano's
prep.
is very good. Yeah, I
Oh,
think that's what she's cooking right there is the tableside prep of the
delish.
lobster. I think it's
Yeah.
delicious, delicious. So here's the ship, and I'm going to go through, kind of what each of the cabins looks like on this ship. It's a silhouette. So for those of you that are on the tightest budget, there are interior cabins on this ship. But the next step up is going to be your ocean view cabins. These are 176 square feet. There is maybe a foot difference in the square footage of the room in terms of the length of the room as opposed to the balcony cabins. We have stayed in this class cabin and liked it, but I think we probably prefer to have the balcony. So whether you're booking a standard balcony or a concierge class or an aqua class balcony, and I've got concierge class cabins and partially obstructed balcony cabins left in my group inventory at discounted prices. I can book you any cabin on the ship, but I think if you're going to want to book the concierge class balcony, if you want a true balcony, or maybe if you're on a little bit more of a budget, you might do one of the obstructed views. I looked at what was available in the obstructed views. There are tons of cabins on the ship that are towards the back where the only obstruction is the roof of that La Petite Chef restaurant. So it's a flat roof that doesn't really, there's nothing big obstructing your view. And there's a couple that are just obstructed by the lifeboats. But the concierge classes that I have available, they are completely unobstructed views. So just kind of wanted to go over that with you. There are suites. I don't know how many suites are still left on this cruise. They don't let me hold suites in my group allocation, so I have to quote those for you at whatever the prevailing rate. Starts at a Sky Suite cabin right here that you see here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what makes our group so special. So our groups give you more perks and more savings. We've got group rates that include the classic drinks package. The classic drinks package is beer, wine, mixed drinks, up to $11 a serving, unlimited servings, and then there's also an array of non-alcoholic drinks that, sodas, bottled water that are also a coffee, specialty teas, all included in that $11 and under price. Now, if you are a little bit more picky about your wine selection, I mean, I actually like some of the ones on that selection better or really well. But if you want to have a little bit more expansive choices of wine, you can upgrade to the premium package. That also gets you premium mixed drinks and some of the specialty beers that they have on board. And you can do that through your cruise planner. It ends up usually being about $12 per day if you time it right and do it when they're having a sale. So not a huge expense, $12 per person per day to upgrade to that better beverage package. But a lot of people are perfectly happy with the standard package. I don't want to downplay that at all because it does have a lot of selections in it, and it does have name brands like Jack Daniels and Bacardi. It's not like you're drinking below the bottom shelf stuff. It's good name brand alcohol in that package. We also, with our group rates, have a refundable deposit. So that means up until final payment, you've given me your $500 deposit. Aunt Sarah's getting married the week of the cruise and you can't go because you want to be at Aunt Sarah's wedding. As long as it's before that final payment date, which is 90 days, you can cancel. Celebrity's going to give you that full $500 deposit back, which is different from some of their direct rates, which are non-refundable. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I joke about this. You need to have a degree to be able to know exactly how to book a celebrity cruise. Luckily, you're in the hands of a professional. I do have my master cruise counselor and my elite cruise counselor certification. So you're in good hands with me. These are all the different ways you can book celebrity. When you look on their website, they're going to show you that least expensive rate and that's going to be the no perk, non-refundable deposit rate. Okay. Then they're going to have a drinks and Wi-Fi included non-refundable deposit rate. Then they're going to have a no perk refundable deposit rate, drinks and Wi-Fi refundable deposit rate. And sometimes they have senior rates, state resident rates, military. So if you are military, I usually can apply the military discount to any booking. We just have to double check that the sailing is still eligible for it. So if you are military, make sure you mention that to me. You'll get a little bit of an extra discount. I think it ends up being about $50 a person off the price of the cruise, but it depends on the length and if it's in the allocation that's included with that. And then the best way to book Celebrity is our group rate. We have a refundable deposit, drinks and Wi-Fi, and I'm going to get to the extra onboard credit that we have in a second, which is a special for our webinar here. So I'll get that in a little bit. But first, I'm going to tell you about the flash sale. So they have a flash sale. It's $300 per balcony cabin or $150 ocean view or inside. And that's going to run from Friday, February 7th to February 10th. This discount applies to our group rates. So I'm going to show you on the next slide where your price ends up going if we get you booked between this Friday and Monday. They will run it again the next week, but I have to tell you, I have such limited inventory, and you're going to see it in the next slide. You're going to want to book with me this weekend to make sure that you get in on our group discounted rate. So I know this is an eye chart, but I just wanted to show you the value of our group rates. So if any of you have been on the Celebrity website pricing this cruise, you are not seeing these prices because, again, I took out my group over a year ago. I locked in those rates. I put some of my own money on there to hold these rates so that I could offer them to my clients. So we've got concierge class unobstructed balconies for $21.89. Now you compare that to the no perk BOGO 75 rate. It's a little bit more, but this includes drinks, Wi-Fi, and a refundable deposit. You compare that to the rate over here that has the same terms and conditions and perks, and look at that savings. It's an over $800 savings. We combine that with the weekend savings, and now your savings are more than $900 with the weekend savings. It actually brings it down. I mean, look, you're paying $50 to have all your drinks and your Wi-Fi for the entire cruise. To me, that's a no-brainer. You're going to book with our group rate instead of this no perk, non-refundable deposit rate. Again, we're comparing in the V3, the partially obstructed veranda. Our prices are less than that no perk, non-refundable deposit rate. And then, so I want to show you over here. So here's our group rates. There's the partially obstructed veranda. There's the no perk, non-refundable deposit rate. We beat the socks off of that rate. So because I took out this group rate early, it's amazing. Now, if you want to have an ocean view, again, we're beating the socks off that rate as well. So I just wanted to let you know that's why we have these webinars. We want to get this information out that we have these great rates. I mean, for so many years, we take out a group, we'd sell part of it, and then those other ones that were discounted, we just couldn't find the people to book them. So we hope that we got you excited about Iceland, excited about these prices, and that you're going to call and book with us.
Great. How many cabins do we have going right now on the cruise?
Slide for that. I believe we have over 20. I think we have I want to say we have about 22 cabins going. So I have it in another slide. For our exclusive onboard credit offer that I alluded to with a little question mark on that other slide, if you book by February 19th, we are going to give you $100 onboard credit just for attending this webinar. So, we want to get you booked. So I'm going to kind of sum it all up here, but then I have a couple more slides to tell you a little bit more about how to get you to Iceland, etc. So again, we have our discounted rates. You're going to get my incredible service. You're going to get my expert shore excursion planning and guidance. Steve and I are going to be on board to make sure that every aspect of your cruise is exceeding expectation, and you get that $100 webinar onboard credit. And I should have changed the date. It is February 17th. Flights by Celebrity. So I wanted to share with you what Flights by Celebrity is. Book now, pay later. When we do your reservation, we can go into Flights by Celebrity and put flights on hold for you. You do not have to pay for those flights until you pay final payment. You can cancel with no penalties anytime before final payment. You can select the price, the airline, the routing that works best for you. And you can pick your class of service: economy, premium economy, business class. Celebrity offers guaranteed arrival with a 24-hour support team. If you get to your connecting city and there's a problem and flights aren't going, you're going to call this magic number at Celebrity, and they're going to make sure they get you there on time to meet up with the ship. And competitive rates. They have really pretty good rates that compete with the individual rates that you can find direct. Now, Flights by Celebrity are available. They've been available since September. There are several cities that Flights by Celebrity offers flights through Iceland Air. And I know none of you have ever heard of Iceland Air. It is the national airline of Iceland. They have direct flights from all of these cities, and it is much shorter than, say, flying to London and then flying to Iceland. Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Minneapolis, New York. I'm not sure Orlando is on that direct list, but Pittsburgh, Portland, Raleigh, Durham, Seattle, Washington, I believe, I already said Portland, and Washington, D.C. Those direct flights round trip are as low as $650. Now, other gateways work with their partner airlines, which are Alaska Airlines in the western part of the United States and JetBlue in the eastern part. So if you don't live in a city that is served by JetBlue or Alaska, you might consider flying to one of these gateway cities and spending the night and then taking your Iceland Air flight the next day. I can help you with logistics, because this price plus a round trip Chicago flight from your hometown or Denver flight from your hometown might end up being a lot less than this price, which would be your fully booked connected, on another airline like United or Air Canada. There's a couple of those airlines offer flights directly to Reykjavik, but not at the rates that Iceland Air does. I meant to go down here. So there also, you can book flights, like I said, with US-based suppliers like American, Delta, and it's usually with routing either through London or Canada. So if you go through Canada, it doesn't take you quite as much time as if you go through London. But I am here to help you with those flights. I can book them through Flights by Celebrity with their no obligation. So I want you to know that I am here to help, and I will make sure that we find you the best routing and the best rate, and I work out all the logistics for you, because that is definitely something that I work with all the time with my clients. Now, we do other groups. I had somebody who saw our Iceland thing reach out to me today. Do you have other groups? Yes, we do. So we have 3 escorted river cruises coming up. And so these are all in 26. I'm very excited. Celebrity has announced that they will start sailing river cruises in 2027. So we will definitely be doing a group or 2 with Celebrity on the rivers in 2027. These are with some of the other suppliers that we work with on the rivers. And we had some webinars that we recorded. You can go see those on our YouTube page. We are doing Antarctica in 2 different ways in 2026. So we have got the 14-night Celebrity Scenic Sailing that starts at about $4,000 a person. And then we're also doing an expedition cruise. This was our group rate. I think we may have sold our last group cabin, so it's going to be a little bit more. But if you're interested in doing an expedition to Antarctica, we are hosting that in 2026 as well. Back to Celebrity. This is our second wine cruise to the Caribbean with the folks from Ascension Cellars. In the past, we have done Norway with Celebrity and Alaska with Celebrity, but in 2026, March of 2026, we are doing this wonderful cruise with Eric, and Celebrity has a wonderful wine cruise program. So they're actually going to ship He's going to ship his wines to the ship, and all 4 of our wine tasting experiences are going to be with his award-winning wines from Paso Robles, California, on board the ship on our sea days. And then you have all these wonderful Caribbean ports to visit. And we did a webinar November 8th. I think we're having another one next week. So if you are interested in learning more about that, reach out to us. We can send you the link to join to register for the webinar. Those Caribbean wine cruises are wonderful, and we are almost sold out on this, again, a year in advance. We've got Scandinavian Capitals with Holland America, another favorite cruise line that we work with. This is going to be round trip from Rotterdam in May of 2026. And then in October of 2026, we have 2 different small ship cruises. One is with Azamara, and that's Greece, Italy, and Albania. And the other one is with Windstar. It's very small, 300 passenger ship that actually fits through the Corinth Canal. So we will transit the Corinth Canal. You can do these 2 is back to back with a 4-night stay in Athens, or somewhere near Athens if you want to go someplace more exotic for those 4 days. Check out all our groups. We've only touched the highlights here. Our groups page on our website is where we have all these special cruises listed, where we have so much better than direct pricing. And here's another great thing. If you need to sail on a different ship or sail date or another destination, we're a national account partner with all major cruise lines, and particularly with Celebrity. We have contracts with them on it is almost every sailing. They give us an allocation of cabins at launch rates, which is what my group rates are on this one. Those are sold by all of our franchise organizations. So we have 2,200 franchises within our organization. But I don't think anybody sells more Celebrity than me. So I have really trained my clients, if you want to get a good deal on Celebrity, book early. And I can, as long as there's still some of that allocation left, I can get you some of those great group rates. So if you're interested in doing anything with Celebrity, just give me a call. I can go through my whole list, find where I have some of those great group prices, and we can get you booked on some that are not ones that I've featured necessarily in this presentation. But the trick to that is to book early, because once that allocation is gone, Celebrity doesn't give us any more. So we really want you to join us. It is a fun group of like-minded travelers. We've got 40+ guests booked already. You can do as much or as little with the group. Whenever I do group cruises, we always kind of, okay, we're going to have happy hour here. Some people come, some people like to do their own thing, and we're perfectly happy to let you do your own thing. It's about you enjoying the cruise the way you want to enjoy it, whether you want to have quiet relaxation or you want to be part of the fun, lively atmosphere. And Celebrity offers both. There's always a quiet place. There's always a place with something going on. Don't miss out on our group rates. I mean, these rates, you saw how incredible the savings are, and they will go quick. We've had a lot of interest since we started running the ads for this webinar. I've already sold 2 concierge class cabins even before we did the webinar. So don't wait. Call me as soon as possible. And here's another slide that I didn't update. We did this webinar back in November, but it's February 19th. And it's not a $200 savings. Remember, if you book over Friday to Monday, it's a $300 savings for balcony cabins, and then $150 savings for ocean views and interiors. We've got risk-free refundable deposits with our group rates. They include the beverage package, and you get that $100 onboard credit if you book by February 19th, not November 7th. I went through and updated this whole slideshow, and I missed a couple slides where I missed some dates. So again, thank you so much for coming. We're going to turn it over to Q&A. I'm going to pull up my multiple screens of slides. So if anybody needs me to go back and review something, please let me know. If you don't want to speak up, you can put it in chat. And I'm here to answer questions if there's anything you wanted to go over with again. Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see everybody, because when I do my screen share, I can't see anybody. So I hope you all really enjoyed the presentation and got a lot out of it. And we are gonna, you want to go ahead and stop the recording, Steve?